Podmas, Christmas time, 30 days, Podmas is here, Podmas is here.
Episode 30 of Podmas.
We did it.
We did it. It's New Year's Eve. I hope you both have a lovely new year, however you choose to spend it. Alex, having fun in Manchester. Tim, drunk in a pool of camembert or whatever Tories do.
Alright.
How are we both doing? How are we both feeling about the end of Podmas?
Oh, it's very satisfying to see all those dates in a row, but I'm very glad the logistical headache is done.
Good. Alex, how are you?
Yeah, it's definitely something we should have started recording sooner than we did. Mid-November was not a good starting date.
June next year, baby.
Yes, they will bring you daily content from June next year.
You misunderstood.
We have promised you throughout all of Podmas 2 new pilots. Our first one was pretty well received, I think. It was the Video Game Movie Club. We watched the Super Mario Brothers movie. Tim, give me a voice snippet of Super Mario Brothers.
The gabagool.
There you go. That was the surprise Super Mario Brothers. And this is our second one. You've already seen the title and the thumbnail of the episode, but this is Thanks, I Hate It.
Tim, Alex, and Joey too. Got a show for me and you. Games and films and tunes, they'll skew. Some laugh, some groans, that's nothing new. Thanks, I hate it. Let's dive in. Games and movies, where do I begin? Tunes we love, but still we spin. Laughs and cringe, it's where we win. Da, 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 da.
So welcome to Thanks, I Hate It. This is something that we're going to do on a monthly basis, right, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Based on
Yeah.
audience feedback, of course. The idea in Thanks, I Hate It is not to bring something that we know the person will hate to the table and to get them angry about it. That's not what we want to do at the Game Club Pod, even if it is quite funny sometimes. The idea here is we have a list each of things in games or movies or albums or TV, whatever media we choose. Doesn't have to just be games. And I'll say, let's use a common example. I'll say, I don't like anime. It's just not something I get on with. And Alex will say, well, actually, I think I have an anime game that you will enjoy. So by introducing me to this area of that genre, he's hoping I'll open my mind a little bit to those kind of games. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Well, let's start off strong. I picked a game from a series that I know Tim hates.
Yep.
I have got us to play Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit. We've all played it for a couple of hours, right, guys?
I finished it.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, cool. So, I know that Tim hates Five Nights at Freddy's. He hates the lore, he hates the gameplay, he hates the fan base, everything about it, right? I wouldn't be overstepping my mark there.
No, I think the whole thing is incredibly dumb. It's YouTube bait.
Cool. So the reason I brought Into the Pit to you is because it's not YouTube bait. It's not bloogie woogie woo jump scare. Look at how loud I can scream to a camera for an audience of 14-year-olds. It's actually based, so I've heard, I've never read the books, off of one of the books in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. Tim, talk to me about your hatred of Five Nights at Freddy. We played Security Breach on the podcast. That was a deviation of the kind of core mechanic of Five Nights at Freddy's, but you still hated that.
Still hated it. It was incredibly broken and boiled down to scary child thing is scary. That is about the long and short of FNAF lore to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I've not got heavily invested in the lore, mostly because I think it's pretty dumb. And this is coming from a guy who enjoys Guilty Gear.
Okay.
So if I don't like it, and if I think it's dumb to the point that I'm not invested in it, I must think it's pretty dumb. So what I have played though of the main FNAF games, if you like, and I'm using big old air quotes there, is Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 3, which I'm told are like the best ones to play, question mark.
Maybe.
They play the exact same. Sorry, FNAF fans, you've bought the game again.
Okay, cool. Before we get into the game itself, Alex, what's your thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's?
I have a very similar feeling to it to Tim, but slightly less vocal about it. I don't enjoy the games. I'm not big into horror games at the best of times, but I just find everything about FNAF just seems incredibly stupid. I don't understand teleporting ball pits.
Well, hold on. Before you go on to that, how about before this game? Let's pretend that you haven't played it yet, and we're talking mainline Five Nights at Freddy's games.
I still don't understand them.
Okay.
I've tried a couple of Five Nights at Freddy games on behest of various friends, and it's always with the same logic of, oh, it gets really creepy. You're gonna really it's gonna make you shit your pants kind of thing. And it's just like, this is just crap. I'm sat at a desk pressing a button. It's basically work.
Okay, cool. Right. We played the game. We're going to structure this a little bit like our mainline episodes because it's a video game. This is not a mainline game. It's not made by the guy, I can't even remember his name, that came up with Fun.
Raythorn, I think.
Scott, whatever his name is.
It's
not made by him.
That's Undertale.
Oh. Another game I don't like.
Wow, we'll get into that later. It's not made by him. It's made by a completely different studio. I haven't even researched who it's by because I don't really think it's important for what this episode is trying to do. This isn't a jump scare bait game. This game has a story. This game has multiple areas, and you have a controllable, movable character within it. Basically, the story is you are a child whose dad is working very hard and leaving you at a pizza place so that he can go to work every evening. Your dad gets abducted into a time-traveling ball pit and possessed by one of the animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's. And your role in this whole thing is to try and save him and survive. Tim, as the person I chose this for, what did you think?
I didn't hate it.
Well, he didn't hate it.
Oh, I think we need a jingle for I hated it or I didn't hate it. And
that would be great. That's a good
maybe
addition.
we'll do that for next time.
Maybe.
Just like a canned cheer. Just like,
yay! Or a big
boo.
Or no, that's a really good idea. We'll do that for next time.
Yeah, let's get like really 80s audience with it.
Yeah, okay, cool. So Tim, you didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. So, like Alex said, I too am not a big fan of horror games, not because I find them scary, but because I find jump scares to be very cheap and very uninteresting. Aside from the occasional bloogie woogie woo red flash screen scary thing that this game did, no jump scares to be found.
Yeah.
None. It was much more of a stealth puzzler. And it was by far the most interesting thing this entire franchise has done, movie, books, and games included.
Okay.
So, I thought the kid Oswald was a bit of a dweeb. Obviously, that's pretty paramount to his, and again, using air quotes, character development, because he doesn't really have a crazy amount of development in this game, but it's kind of the structure for a lot of the puzzles and like the whole reason why he's a scared kid in a pizzeria. Again, it loops back around to thing made for children is now scary. What this game does do really well, though, is it's a great way for someone who either doesn't know about FNAF be that gameplay, lore, whatever, or doesn't particularly give a shit about FNAF, to get their feet wet.
Us guys.
Us lot.
Yeah.
To get their feet wet with the series. And while I'm not going to go out and play FNAF 1 through a billion the same game over and over again, what I am going to come away with after playing this game is a little bit more of an appreciation for the game's design after it left Scott Craythorne's hands. Because I know he's signed away the rights to the series now, and he's effectively, there's developers that can jump in on the franchise to publish what they want, and this is a really unique take on the series. The other thing I really appreciate, and this is again loops back around to my idea of it's really good for those who don't give a shit about the lore. Early on in the game, you are given a journal by a girl at your school called Gabrielle, and this journal contains drawings and diagrams of the various animatronics throughout Five Nights at Freddy's games, I suppose, as like refers to a bunch of them. And the girl's like, oh yeah, my uncle did like the designs for these or something back in like the 70s or whatever. And the little notes gave you hints on how to deal with some of the animatronics wandering the place. Like, why, like the uncle like getting frustrated and being like, why does the Chica robot have a sense of smell? And it's like, oh well, it's in a fast food place. Food has smells. We can use food to interact with it in some way. Or Bonnie the bunny, where it's like, don't play his guitar, or you'll aggravate him, and that's how you lure him away from places to f around with his guitar. It's stuff like that that makes you go, okay, I'm not necessarily going to remember these characters, but I at least know how they interact. And I thought that was a really cool bit of game design. Great work.
So, sorry, Tim. I know you said you didn't hate it. Did you enjoy it?
I wouldn't say I enjoyed it. Like, it's not going to be like my top 10 games of the year or whatever, but I would put it, if I had to give it a rating out of 10, maybe like a 6 or a 7.
Okay.
It was fine. The other thing that I thought was really, really interesting about this, and it's something because you repeatedly go back to your own house every single night to start the nights at Freddy's. And each time you escape your house, the next night you can't repeat that method. It locks off that method of escape through reason X, Y, or Z.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, every single night you have to find a creative way to escape your house to go to the pizzeria. It can even be as simple as just go out the front door.
Mm-hmm.
But then like they'll lock the door the next night. Oh, I'll put a ladder to the window in the basement so I can climb out. Now the ladder's broken and the window's locked. It's stuff like that. It's cool. It keeps you thinking on your feet. Plus, sorry, I know I've been rambling for a long time on this.
No, not at all.
Plus, I will say this game has some very, very, very nice pixel art and animation. Again, I think the FNAF monsters are pretty dumb, but some of the pixel art, especially the close-ups with, I think, the rabbit that's chasing the whole time, I think it's called Springtrap.
Springtrap, yeah, that's right.
Okay, it is Springtrap. So you get a lot of close-ups with Springtrap because that's the main thing that's chasing you. So you'll be hiding in a vent or a box or something and you'll see it walk by. And it's really detailed pixel art animation when it needs to be and really simple when it needs to be as well. It's great at conveying information to the player.
I agree.
Job done. Also, lighting engine on the flashlight. Thought that was particularly cool. End of my thoughts. Thank you.
I'm glad. I would say a 6 or a 7 out of 10 is enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Tim.
It's a nice pocket experience.
Nice.
You know what? It would be great on phones, actually.
I think it might be too much for phones, but well, we can agree to disagree there. Alex, what did you think?
I don't normally care for stealth horror, point and click types of stealth puzzlers and things like, Outlast, Krampus Kills that we played recently. I don't care for those type of games. I also really, really don't care for FNAF setting in the slightest. However, as a game, this functions very well. As Tim said, the art style is really, really nice. It's really good, thoughtful pixel art. The sound design isn't bad either. There's some some good bits of design. Although I think it's on the first or the second night, the kid that's trapped
in the
and
machine.
you have to free him. That crying sound will haunt my dreams because it was just so irritating, and so it was a bit sort of discordant and a bit weird. But the core mechanics work. It's simple enough to pick up and play. There's no need for like a heavy tutorial. I like that they added little quick time events when you were hiding, rather than just I'm going to jump in a closet and stay here until the monster passes. You've got to swap bugs out the way or stop the toys getting out from under the bed. I thought that was a really nice little addition to keep it interesting, because I feel like if you're going to sit in a box for 30 seconds while you're waiting for something to go past, that could get a bit boring after the 20th time. But by adding these little mini games on it, keeps it going quite well. I think I'm with Joey on this. I don't think it'd be a good mobile game, but I think it'd be perfect in a browser game, something like on itch.io or something like that, or a Flash games. But yeah, didn't hate my time.
That is good. That is what we're here for. I actually disagree again. The itch.io. I actually think it's the kind of perfect game for a Steam Deck,
which is entirely what I played it on.
Great. I think Steam Deck, Switch, that kind of on the go games console, that's where I think this lands. Because I don't know if either of you have played a full length game on a tablet or a phone. It's not a fun experience.
No, but I would struggle to call this yes, it has a start and an end and is therefore a full length game. But my total playtime in this game was 4 hours, and I was able to finish it.
But there is, in theory, they've put in enough there for you to do more than that. So if you wanted all of the endings, you could, in theory, play it over and over and over again. I think there's 5 different endings. Tim, I know you got 2 of them. Alex, did you finish the game?
I did not, but I got one ending after 10 minutes.
Is it the same one that I got where you leave the pizzeria?
Yeah, and it just comes up on the bottom. It says achievement unlocked. See you, Dad.
Yeah. That's after your dad has been kidnapped and pulled into the time traveling pit by Springtrap. You can't just choose to leave, not bother doing anything.
Yep.
I think that's a bit of a common theme, because they did that in Security Breach as well. You could just go and just forget about it. Like, nah, I'm all right. Which I think most people would do. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think that... So I think I maybe wasn't a bit fair before. The game itself, it's important to say that it's made by Mega Cat Studios. It's the first and only game that they've ever developed and published. I agree with Tim. The pixel art is what drew me in. I think I'm not adverse to the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. I think it's stupid. Don't get me wrong. But I quite like a rabbit hole, and I think that franchise is a rabbit hole. But when you see the pixel art of Springtrap coming at you, and it's like it's open teeth smashing down, and the children's party in the 80s when the place wasn't haunted and full of bloogie woogie woo monsters, I just think it looked vibrant and full of life, which isn't normal for one of these horror games. And I have to say, I'm glad you both had a good time with it.
I do have a couple of criticisms.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
So, can we please do away with a random tripping mechanic? This isn't Super Smash Brothers Brawl. Oswald needs to tie his shoes or lift his feet, because for the audience, if you sprint for too long, there is a random chance that Oswald, the playable character, will just trip and you're effectively out of action for like 5 seconds, I think it is, which I know doesn't sound like much, but if you're being chased... Yeah, but if you're being chased, it's obviously there. It's there to heighten the sense of tension. Always going to get you, but it's taking control away from a player, which
Do you not think that the reason that they've done it is to stop you just sprinting everywhere, though?
Well, I think but there's the noise meter for that.
Yeah. But you can just run past the monsters. You could, in theory, sprint the whole game, run past the monsters, and keep sprinting. I know that some of them are a bit quicker than you, but you could run sprint, hide, sprint, hide. And I think that that's not how they want you to play it. I do agree. It's a bit of an annoying mechanic. It felt a bit like every time you fell over, in Family Guy, where he does the thing and he falls over and he's like, It felt like that because it went on forever. But no, I think it's fair criticism.
The other thing, the library location, completely useless. Like, I know that there is a point in the story where you go and get the firecrackers off the kid at your school, at the library, and then your dad drags you away. But why couldn't that just happen at the school where you met the kid from the school? Or the mill where it's like, there's a mill in town which is basically like a big old trash heap, but all the rough kids hang out there. And this kid has firecrackers. It makes sense he'd be in that kind of space as well. It's a very minor nitpick, but I think they made themselves just a bit of extra work there for not really any payoff.
Fair enough. Any other gripes, Tim? If no is the answer, that's fine. It's not a loaded question.
No, I don't think so. No,
Okay.
The game was actually. I was thinking about this as well while playing it because I did get caught a few times by the golden bunny spring trap. The checkpoint system's actually very fair. It's not like, oh, we're going to send you back to the beginning of the night or the previous 24 hours or whatever. It's like, hey, what's the last significant thing you did? We're going to send you back there. Great, love that.
Nice.
That's fine. Short iterative cycles for a short game.
Nice. Alex, did you have anything that you really disliked about the game?
Same as Tim, my main gripe was the trip mechanic. I understand that it was a risk-reward kind of thing for sprinting to get away, but if you've already got one risk, which is making a lot of noise, you don't need the second risk of tripping over. Other than that, I mean, the only thing I would say about this game is if you hadn't pointed this out to us, Joey, and made us play it, I would have never picked it up purely because of the FNAF tag.
Okay.
I think if this game could easily have been doppelgangers, it could have been aliens, it could have been cyborgs, like cyborgs, androids taking over. It could have been anything like that. And
Vampires, werewolves, whatever.
I mean, yeah, anything that can take the form of another creature almost, or somehow affect the minds of people around. And I think if it was something like that, I'd have probably put a bit more time into it, but it wasn't bad.
Okay, cool. Do you know what I really liked? It was when you could see Oswald's paranoia getting in everywhere. I really like the scene where he's in the school and the teacher and all of the kids had animatronic heads. Did you guys get that branch?
No.
Tim?
Yes, I did.
Nice. And Tim, what ending did you get?
So I got the one where you grab the dad, and you escape the ball pit, but Springtrap pulls you in, and then you get a hand-drawn picture of Oswald tied to a chair, presumably as Springtrap eats him.
The bad ending.
Yes.
I don't know what influences the endings. I'll be really honest with you.
So I think from what I've been able to work out, because I did actually take some time to do some exploring in this game, which for a series that I don't particularly care about, I think that's something to begin with.
Yeah.
But I found there was a couple of items like your dad's wallet, or I think the dad's keys was an object. I think what you need to get in order to get the endings is it depends on the amount of objects related to your dad that you get.
Okay.
So the more of your dad's things you find, the closer you are to the good ending.
I think so.
Right. I mean, there is a few endings. So the ones I know of, you leave the pizza place after 10 minutes. You say, this is not for me. And then you just leave.
See you, Dad.
You get a hand-drawn image that's like, see you, Dad. There's the one Tim just described. The one I got where Jeff, the guy who runs the pizza place in the present time, he wandered over towards the ball pit and got killed by Springtrap. It was nothing to do with Oswald. There is one where everything is fine and your dad gets out and you give him a hug and you just carry on. And then there's one more where it looks like everything is fine, But as you're leaving the room with the ball pit, Oswald's eyes start to glow like spring traps. So he's been taken over by the possession of the bad bunny person. Those are the ones that I know of. I think there might be a few more. I'm not sure. But I really liked how, going back to the paranoia, there will be bits. So you spend the whole time basically running away from Springtrap, but there'll be bits where your dad, he's possessed by this animatronic. So you see him as Springtrap, even when he's not evil. And the one that really got me is the first time that happened, and he was just sat at the breakfast table.
Yeah.
Waiting for you to go to school, and you had to walk past him. I was like, oh, that's fucking creepy, man.
Well, I was fully ready for him to start chasing.
Yeah.
Oh, me too. And the thing I really liked about that scene in particular was the head turning.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds like a really obvious thing to do. The guy is obviously watching you, but from an animation perspective, even if it's pixel art, head turns are really difficult. Like, that took work to do. Good work.
Yeah, really good. Oh, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's success for the first. Thanks, I hate it. I guess we have a question here. Do you still hate it?
I still hate the series, but there's there's a diamond in this rough. That's
Okay.
where I'll leave it.
Alex, you also hated the series, which I wasn't aware of at the time. So I guess the same question can
Yeah, you
apply
got a
to you.
twofer there. Yeah, no, I still don't. It's still not made me like the FNAF series, but it's given me an appreciation for the developer.
Nice.
Good call.
Well done. Yeah. Great shout. Great job, Mega Cat Studios. Especially impressive for your first and only title. So, Tim,
Hi.
you're taking on the next thing that someone will hate. Just so you know, audience, we have chosen our things but haven't disclosed them to the other people yet. And this one, like I said, my one was targeted at Tim. Tim, what is your media and who is it for?
It is a video game.
Ooh.
Alex.
Ooh, yes.
You hate fighting games, don't you?
I'm not. It's not so much a hate; it's more a frustration because I'm not good at them.
Oh, it's on your hate list though.
It is, yeah.
I'm gonna take it as a hate.
Go on.
You know I like Guilty Gear, don't you?
I do. I'm aware.
Have you ever heard of a game called Guilty Gear 2 Overture?
Well, I'm sure I have. I'm sure I've heard the soundtrack 1,000 times from you.
Yeah, we're going to be playing that.
Guilty Gear.
Is this not the really bad one?
No.
Oh.
Guilty Gear 2 Overture is not a fighting game. It is set in the Guilty Gear universe. It plays like a single player MOBA.
I'll take it, absolutely.
So this might be one for you as well, Joey, because of the MOBA aspect.
Yeah. Cool. That sounds
I
fun.
didn't know that Joey was the because Joey hates MOBAs.
Yeah.
I'm having a mind blank. What does MOBA stand for?
Massive
online
battle arena. You know, like League of Legends.
Oh, God.
League of Legends, Smite, Valorant, and things like that can be classed as them to a degree.
I really hate MOBAs.
So,
Another two.
two.
Okay, let's cut it there. So we've got Guilty Gear 2 Overture for next time. We also have the end of Podmas. We do have an episode coming up tomorrow. It's Two Blokes from Blighted, but it's January. It's 2025, so it doesn't count as Podmas. Guys, I have a special for you for the end of Podmas.
What?
One that I put no work in whatsoever. I was sent something by one of our listeners, and I want it to close out all of Podmas, okay?
Yep.
So I'm going to thank the lovely Dan in advance. Here's a skill I bet you didn't know he had. Say bye, everyone, and then we'll play it to close us out.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
It's Podmas, Christmas time. The Game Club boys bring us plenty of cheer.